Hey guys, so in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to save your first $10,000 step by step. We'll be going over 10 easy steps that you guys can literally start doing right now. And if you do these 10 steps, I guarantee you that it's going to get you to that $10,000 savings level. So yeah, make sure to watch all the way through. And if you guys also want a couple $100 of free stocks, I'll put some links down below and you can claim those free stocks. So without further ado, let's get started. First, let's talk about the mindset framework that you guys need to have to save more effectively. The first one is, well, you guys need to understand why you want to save money, right? We're not gonna save money just to save money. When we don't know the reasoning behind what we're doing, then it makes it a lot harder for us to be consistent. So I encourage you guys to identify a purpose, figure out what you're saving money for. It could be a house, it could be, let's say, to leave your 9-to-5 job, or it could even just be to have more security in life. Whatever it is, just understand what you are saving for. You also need to know the value of your time and how it impacts your purchases. For example, if you are making $50,000 a month and you work 40 hours a week, your time is approximately worth $25 per hour. Knowing this calculation is really important because let's say you're trying to spend $50 on a meal. If you do the math, that means that you're spending about 2 hours of your life working at your job in order to afford that meal. I actually like to take it another step and apply a multiple to this number, because let's say you really hate working your job, then let's say that multiple is going to be like 1.5, meaning yes, you're spending 2 hours at work, but that's actually like 3 hours since you really don't enjoy it. The lowest multiple is 1 because, well, if you spend 2 hours at work, that's gonna equate to 2 hours. You can't really love a job so much that let's say you have a multiple of 0.5, meaning for those 2 hours you spent at your job, you're only spending 1 hour. Doesn't work like that. This is a really important framework to have because it's going to change how you interpret the next 10 steps we are talking about. Everyone watching this video is going to make different amounts of money. So I encourage you guys, get out a pen and paper, do that calculation right now, and keep that in mind as you are watching the rest of this video. So the first thing is budgeting correctly, right? So a lot of people, they actually are budgeting incorrectly, and it does really affect how consistent and how fast they can actually save up their first $10,000. If you're budgeting, but you're also estimating all your costs, then you're doing something wrong. With budgeting, I think it's so important to know exactly what you are spending, down to the penny. For example, let's say you want to keep your food budget to $100 per month. A lot of people are going to go into this thinking, okay, I'll spend around $100. It's fine if I spend $80. It's also fine if I spend $120. But I encourage you guys, set that $100 mark to the T and really tell yourself, I cannot go a single penny above that amount. Oftentimes we give ourselves too much leeway when it comes to our spending. So I think it's really important to set these really hard boundaries on your budgets. A lot of people also don't know exactly how much they are spending on things like utilities, car payments, and all that stuff. So I encourage you guys, look through the last 6 months of expenses, add up each category, divide by the number of months, and that is going to be the average amount of money you spent in each of those categories. That's going to give you your most accurate picture of what you're spending in each category, and that's going to really help you set these hard limits on your budget. So if you guys budget correctly, effectively, and down to the very last penny, that's really going to influence how much money you guys are able to save. When you know exactly how much you guys are saving, that's going to be able to allow you to calculate how many months it's going to take you to save $1,000 or $5,000 or $10,000. So let's say you budget and you know you're going to spend exactly $1,000 or less per month. If we have, let's say, $5,000 coming in, that means we can actually do the exact math and say that we are going to actually save $4,000. And if you take $10,000 and you divide it by that 4K, that gives us 2.5 months exactly. Just having this clarity about how long it's going to take you to save this money is going to really help. The next thing you want to do is save on the big purchases. This sort of goes into the whole budgeting thing, but something that a lot of people don't do is they don't identify their biggest expenses, and then they don't prioritize saving on these. The reason why this is so important is because let's say you're spending $500 per month on transportation. Obviously, this is going to really eat into how much money you can save per month. And I like to work off percentages because percentages apply to real life. Let's say you're able to save 10% on your transportation by, let's say, driving less, getting a cheaper car, doing more public transportation, riding a scooter, whatever it is. If we take $500 and you multiply it by 0.1, which is 10%, that gives us $50 of instant savings per month. Now, 10% is not that much. Let's say you can do 20%. If you do the math there, 500 times 0.2 is going to be $100 in savings. And that is an even bigger, significant portion of your budget. So what I want you guys to do is identify the top 3 to 5 categories that you're spending your money in. And for most of you guys, it's probably going to be transportation, housing, and food, and find ways to save, let's say 10 to 20% on each of these categories. And if you do that, it's going to reduce the amount of money you're spending significantly, which is going to make saving $10,000 that much easier. Step 3 is you actually want to start saving on the small things as well. And I know you might be thinking, okay, Charlie, you're telling us to save on the big things. You're also telling us to save on the small things. The reason why this is important is because a lot of the times people focus a lot of their attention on the middle expenses. And while yes, it is important to, budget those things, a lot of the time we let these small purchases sort of slip, and that has a huge impact on our savings rate. For the first $10,000 that you are saving, a $20 meal is actually a very significant portion of that, right? So let's say we have $10,000. A $20 meal, if we do the math, is going to be 0.2% of that. So let's say you have saved up $10,000 and you're spending $20 on a meal. That means you're literally spending 0.2% of your current net worth on this one meal. And I want you guys to think, is it worth it for me to do that? Or is it better for me to, save $17 of that 20 by actually just making the food myself and eating in? It is so important that you guys think in terms of percentages rather than dollars, especially at the start of your savings journey. For someone with, let's say, $10 million in the bank, them saving that $20 is going to be like, what, 0.0000 something 2%. That is actually insignificant, and that's why it doesn't really matter if they save that money. However, for someone with $10,000, that $20 is actually a pretty big portion of their money. And that's why it's that much more important to focus on the savings. In this case, that $20 meal, you'd only be able to eat 500 times before you completely ran out of money. So identify all the little things that you're spending money on day to day. I know that the food example we talked about blends in with the large categories, but let's also think about like coffees. Let's think about those extra utility payments that you're paying by taking those extremely long hot showers. Whatever it is, identify these small things that you're doing consistently and try to wipe those purchases out. So the next thing we're talking about is a little bit not traditional, but I think it actually has a huge impact on your ability to save money. And that is to actually join a gym and go to the gym every single day. The reason why this is so important, you guys, I know it sounds weird, but it's because gymming is the cheapest hobby in the world. Most gyms are going to cost, let's say, between $20 to $40 per month. So let's say we're spending an average of $30 per month on your gym membership. So that's $1 per day. Tell me another hobby that you will do consistently that costs less than $1 per day. It's really hard, and most of the things that I can think about actually do relate to physical activity. For example, going on walks, going to the beach, dancing, whatever it is. For $1 per day, you are assigning 1 to 2 hours of your day to doing something. And trust me, guys, if you're bored and you don't have activities like this, you're gonna find a way to spend money. You're gonna go get some food, you're gonna go get a smoothie, you might go shopping, whatever it is. When we have free time, we tend to actually fill that time by spending money. So that $30 we are spending per month can actually translate into, let's say, saving $300 in expenses, right? You might spend $300 less in food, or you might spend $300 less in gas going to places. Whatever it is, this is the cheapest hobby. It's also good for your health. It's going to reduce how much you spend going to the doctor. And yeah, wealth, you guys, is so important. So not only is it really good for you financially to save your first $10,000, it's also going to pay so many dividends into the future and allowing you to live a more healthy lifestyle. I've been gymming since like 7th or 8th grade, and I'm 30 years old right now. So that means I've been going to the gym for like over 15 years. I'd say without a doubt, I would have spent way more money doing other things if I hadn't been preoccupied with going to the gym. So yeah, a weird step, but definitely something you guys should do. And if you already gym a lot, then awesome. Let's move on to the next step. The next thing you're gonna wanna do is learn the difference between spending money versus spending money into things that don't actually cost you much money to own. Now, I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but let me clarify what I mean. So let's say you're buying a t-shirt. This is my drawing of a t-shirt, and it costs $15. Let's say you guys are buying a laptop, right? So this is my drawing of a laptop, and you want to save a little bit of money so you get something that's not too good. Say you spend $500 on that laptop. Now let's say you have someone else that buys a really good laptop. Let's say a MacBook Pro for $1,000. Now, I'm really big on the saying that you should spend more money on things that separate you from the ground, so your shoes, your bed, and all that stuff, as well as for things that you can make money from. So with a laptop, of course, you can make a lot of money through your computer, and that's why I always encourage people to spend a little bit more on their computer. In this case, right, we're spending $1,000 on that initial purchase versus $500 for like a really bad laptop. But let's say that this MacBook lasts us 5 years, and at the end of those 5 years, it's going to be worth $500. In this case, 5 years of ownership is going to cost $100 per year to own. Now let's say for that $500 laptop, after let's say 3 years, it's basically broken. It's worth maybe $150. So for those 3 years of ownership, we are spending $350, aka about 100 and let's say 16, I think that's right? Yeah, just around $117 per year to own. So in this case, obviously it was better to have the more expensive laptop in the first place. It's actually cheaper on a cost of ownership level. Plus you're able to use a significantly more reliable and faster computer for those years. This is just one example. I know it's not perfect, but I just sort of want to paint this idea with some type of example. This applies to your computer. This applies to your chairs that you buy. This applies to the car that you're driving. I just want you guys to adopt the mindset that the amount of money you're spending on a one-time item is not just how much you're spending. Rather, you should look at it as how much will it cost me to own this item. And to do that, of course, you're going to take the initial purchase price, you're going to subtract how much you're going to be able to sell it for in X years, and that is your ownership cost. A lot of the times, things that have a cheaper purchase price are going to cost significantly more to own than better quality things that last longer or don't depreciate as much. So stop buying things that keep breaking, making you have to go out there, waste your time and buy these things all over again. Rather, buy things that last a long time, that don't depreciate as much, and in the long term, the amount of money you're spending to own the item is going to be a lot less. Okay, so the next thing that you guys need to do is continually put your money into investments that you don't touch. I really want to emphasize the don't touch part because a lot of the times we put our money into accounts that we can easily access or things that we are tempted to sell to regain our money. But you guys, I'm telling you, you don't want to do that. You want to put your money into things that are invested for the long term that you just don't touch and forget about. So many studies have shown that the best investors are those that actually lose their passwords, don't touch their accounts for a long time, and finally realize, oh, I had this much money sitting in the stock or index fund, and it's actually grown so significantly. The reason is because humans have a lot of emotions and investing just don't mix well. If something goes up, you might be tempted to sell without, thinking about the long-term appreciation that stock or index fund might have. Or if something dips, you might be tempted to, cut your losses and sell right now. Where you guys, I promise you, if you buy a high quality investment and you just let it sit for a long time and forget about it, your returns are going to be much better. Especially right now with the depressed markets, it's a really good time to invest your money. Sure, things could drop tomorrow or for the next 6 months or whatever, but if we zoom out on a wider perspective and look at the next 20 to 30 years, then yes, right now or anytime you have some extra money to invest, it is going to be smart to put that money into investments. And when we're talking about saving $10,000, this doesn't just mean the amount of money that you have in your bank account. In fact, that's actually not optimal. We don't want to have a lot of your money actually sitting in that bank account because chances are it's losing money to inflation and it could probably be allocated in a much better way. So yeah, I mentioned this earlier, but if you guys want to get some free stocks with WeBull or Moomoo, right now, if you guys use my link, they are giving out so many free stocks. It is absolutely insane. And that's just going to be some free money for you guys to build towards that $10,000. The links are going to be down in the description below. A lot of people say invest all your money into stocks, crypto, whatever assets. But I actually think that's not the best way to invest, especially your first $10,000. Right now, there are much better categories to put more of your money into, which we will talk about later on in this video. But definitely still get started investing. You want to get the ball rolling. You want to put some money into your accounts because ultimately we want investing into stocks to be a sort of habit that you do on a constant basis. All right, so the next thing you want to do to help save your first $10,000 is to actually just make more money. And the best way to do that, you guys, is to start a service-based business. So service-based business, let's call it SBB. I think a lot of people make the mistake of putting a lot of their first earned dollars into assets, and that's really important, but a lot of your money shouldn't be going to that. And let me tell you guys why. So with these assets, right, stocks, crypto, whatever it is, it's gonna take you a long time to make money. That $1,000 you put in today might be, let's say 1.1K next year, and so on, right? So yes, it does grow exponentially. That's why it's important to invest in these assets as soon as possible. But it's also very important to funnel a bunch of your money into your own business. With a service-based business, let's say that you are really good at, let's say, for example, writing YouTube scripts. So you become a YouTube script writer, right? This doesn't really cost you any money. Let's say you already have a computer. Maybe you spend $100 or something. So we'll say $100, and immediately you get a cash flowing business once you get your first clients. So let's say you get 3 clients and each of them orders 3 scripts per month. That is a total of 9 scripts you're doing. And let's say you charge $100 for each script. So that's going to be $900 per month. So with that $100, we are literally turning it into $900 in one single month. And that is a 900% gain on your money. Yes, you're also investing your time, but that's super good. 900% is way better than the 10% you are earning on whatever assets you're buying. With that $900 in additional money that's coming in, that can be money that's going directly to your savings if you don't have any lifestyle inflation. Like if you're able to keep all your other expenses the same, then yeah, this $900 after paying taxes is gonna go straight into your bank account. And in this case, let's say this is the only money that you're saving. It's gonna take about 11 months for you to get that 10K. So yeah, especially at the start when you're young and you don't have that much money saved, an extra $900 per month from your service-based business is gonna be amazing. And that's why I encourage you guys, spend a little bit of money building out your business, provide some type of high value service to other people, and that is going to dramatically increase the speed in which you can save this money. The next step in saving your first $10,000 is just talking about money more. So I like to think of the world as having 2 different groups of people. People that have a lot of trouble saving money and building wealth. And on the other hand, we have people that are really good at making and saving money. So let's write that right here, poor and wealthy. It might sound obvious, but the people over here are not gonna really be talking about money much. Whereas the people over here, it's going to be a significant part of their conversations and what they focus their minds on. The more you guys care about money, the more you guys care about learning about saving money and making money, the more rich you will become. I guarantee that. And so when your conversations are focused on things that don't relate to money, like let's say gossip, drama, TV, whatever, then yeah, it's gonna be a lot harder to make money. Whereas if you are focusing on, let's say, money, like budgeting, business, that type of stuff, money is just way more likely to flow into your life. The way you talk more about money is you find friends that also care about it. So if all your friends are not saving their money and they're not on the path to saving their first $10,000, then it's gonna be a lot harder for you to as well. Versus if you have friends, they're all go-getters, they all care about budgeting, saving money, all that stuff, they're gonna hold you accountable. A lot of your conversations are gonna revolve around saving money, and you're just gonna save money way faster. I know that money is not the only important thing in life, but if I were to choose one of these 2 groups to be in, I'm always going to choose this category. It shouldn't be weird to talk about. It should be something that you guys are focusing on every single day. And if you do that, you're gonna save that $10,000 very, very fast. The next thing you have to do if you wanna start saving more money is to pay off your high interest debt. Now, many of you guys watching this might not have any debt, and that's amazing. But I know some of you guys are gonna have student loan debt or credit card debt, whatever it is. And a lot of times these types of debt carry high interest rates. The reason why it's so important to start paying off this debt right now is because if you don't, the interest payments that are accruing on your balance are going to get bigger and bigger. And just like with compounding interest, this is going to get more and more, and that's going to be really, really bad when it comes to saving money. Let's say you have some credit card debt, right? And the interest rate is going to be 20%. This is going to be really bad, you guys, right? Because it's very, very hard for you guys to put your money into assets that generate over 20% per year. So let's say you put money into stocks and let's say it gains 10% in a year, which is awesome. That money that you put into stocks grew at 10% for the year, so you're up 10%, but the money you had on that loan that is accruing interest is at 20%. So that means that this debt is growing a lot faster than this. So instead of putting money into stocks at this point, it's gonna be much more beneficial for you to put that same amount of money into your debt, into your loan. You're essentially gonna be saving 20% by putting money into that loan rather than making 10% by putting that money into your stocks. And if you do the math, That's quite a bit better. And in almost every single scenario, I'm gonna be choosing this. It's a quick calculation. Look at your debt, look at the interest rate, and compare that to how much money you think you can make putting your money into other assets. If your money is just sitting in a checkings account paying 0.01%, then paying off your debt is gonna be better every single time. But if there are other investments that are, let's say, better, then maybe that's gonna make more sense. It's really going to depend on a case-by-case basis. And lastly, you guys, I know this is gonna be extra, but I really encourage you guys, if you don't want to put your money into, let's say, stocks or anything, like you want to be really, really safe, which, I don't recommend fully, but some of you guys are still gonna wanna do that. And if you are, definitely put your money into an online high interest yield savings account. Right now, there are tons of banks paying out about 2% APY. And when you compare that to most of the brick and mortar banks like Bank of America and Chase, that is essentially free money. So let's say your current bank, you guys, is paying 0.01% interest and you have $10,000 in there. What I would do is I'd move that over to, let's say, an Ally Bank account. And as of right now, as I'm filming this video, the interest rate is 1.75%. Meaning on that $10,000, instead of coming up with $0 in interest payments, you're gonna actually get $175 of basically free money just for putting your money into that Ally account. Now, of course, not that great, doesn't beat inflation, but I'm still gonna take this over this any day. We're all gonna have at least some money in a bank account anyways, so yeah, you might as well make a little bit of money. Anyways, those are the steps and things that I would do and know to save my first $10,000. I just want you guys to know that the first $10,000 you save is going to be quite hard, but actually each subsequent $10,000 you're saving after that is gonna get a lot easier. So I hope that, it relieves some of the pain that you guys are going through right now in order to save this money. Just know that it's well worth it. The beginning is the hardest, but if you want to live a life where you aren't stressing about money, then at some point you're going to want to prioritize saving that first $10,000 and then $100,000 and then $1 million or more. And yeah, I'm really proud of you guys. You guys are doing the work. You guys are learning about this stuff. And I have no doubt that every single one of you guys watching this video will be able to save up $10,000. Everyone's journey is going to be different. Everyone's timeline is going to be different, but we are all capable of getting there. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy the video and feel free to reference this video at any point you want because I know that we covered a lot of stuff. I'm really passionate about making these free videos for you guys because I really want the world to be more financially secure. Give this video a like and also subscribe if you want to see more content just like this. I make a ton of videos about personal finance, investing, and entrepreneurship. Again, thank you so much for your time and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.